Welcome back to Apple Tree Allotment. Come down at the weekend for a look round, and we've got a few little jobs to do this week. I'll show you how some of the stuff's getting on. It's doing really well. Some of the pumpkins are doing really well. It's a ginormous pumpkin, and a little bit of a failure. We've got some blight on the tomatoes. So yeah, so one of the jobs today, I think we're going to need to rip those out and put them on the burn pile. We're not going to get anything out of them down here. Luckily, the ones down at home in the garden, we've got cherry tomatoes and sort of sliced in tomatoes, and they're doing really well at home. So it's not a loss, but it's a shame they didn't take off. Yeah, so I'll show you around, and then I'll show you what else we're going to do today. So at the front here, we've got our 2 beds of pumpkins, and they're doing really well. The new one we planted last week at the front of this bed has taken off really well and grown. So that's brilliant. Really happy with that. There's lots of foliage. It's getting massive, this bed. I'm trying to train them so they stay on our allotment and don't spread out over everyone's. Do my best. The 3 sisters beds are looking really good. I'll show you that pumpkin in a minute. There's lots of little pumpkins on here, lots of flowers. The corn's doing really well. You can see some nice corn cobs there. And this one on the right actually has already gone brown on the top. So I don't know if the weather this year, it's been so weird, isn't it? But maybe some of them are going to get there early. But I can see lots of cobs on there. Beans are getting right up the top of these sweet corn. Yeah, and the pumpkins are amazing. So yeah, we've got these lovely corn cobs. These beautiful flowers are out. Love seeing these on the courgettes and the pumpkins. We've got this is slightly crazy pumpkin. So this must be, it's ginormous. It's squishing the other plants, so it's squishing the vine, but it's also pushing over one of the sweet corn. So yeah, I might have to see if I can move that a bit, and I'll look up what variety it was and see if it could be harvested. I'm not sure. And then there's lots of other little ones, some down here, over this side. The beans here, I have to train some of these up, but there's lots of them intertwined. These lovely flowers. There's some nice ones here. There's 2 varieties of pumpkins. This is more of a stripy, nice looking one. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Another nice one, really nice one there growing. Yeah, so quite hopeful of a nice pumpkin harvest. We've lost all of our squash, which is a shame, but yeah, we might do well on pumpkins this year. Maybe the weather favoured them. Broad beans they're still producing, but they're getting browner and browner and falling over more and more. I'll probably just leave them in another week or 2 just to try and edge out the last few beans. But yeah, I can see some nice big beans on here that we can get out. So I'll pick a few of those. We've been using them. We did roast some and just have roasted beans, and we've had we used some in, I think we put some in a curry and a few things. Yeah, so we've had a good lot of them. The beds at the back, we've got this one that's got the 2 courgettes and the sweet potato in. This courgette's catching up. There's a few little fruit on there. It's getting there. The one in the back there has just died. Obviously I wasn't very happy. And the sweet potato, I wouldn't say it's grown particularly, but it's still there. We'll see. This bed that had the squash in, they're completely gone now. They've been eaten by whatever. So we're going to reuse that bed today, and I'll show you that in a minute. On the other side, so here's our tomatoes. You can see they're a bit of a brown mess now. It's a real shame. The ones at home are looking amazing, and we've been picking the last sort of 3 days or so. We've picked cherry tomatoes, and yeah, they've been amazing. But yeah, I'm going to pull these up, and I'll put them there's a pile that they burn stuff on, so I'll go and chuck them on there. Don't want them near everything else really. And then we'll reuse that bed for something else. Over the other side, we've got our courgettes down here. We've got 2 at home that are doing amazing, and we're filling up the freezer and meals with them. There's another 4 or 5 to pick here today. There's a nice green one there. Some nice yellow ones growing away. So yeah, we'll harvest those today, take those home. I think there's already about 14 in the fridge, so they might not be welcome, but I will freeze them and we can use them in the winter anyway. Next 2 beds, we've got our main crop potatoes in. So there you can see they've all gone over now, totally done. So what I'm going to do, we've got at home, we've still got the boxes of the first earlies. We've probably got another week worth of eating those. But the second earlies, we had 2 beds here and 1 bed at home of second earlies. We haven't even touched them yet. They're all at home in a box, stored. And there's a lot there. So what I'm going to do is we'll store them at home in our pantry that's nice and cold or cool. So they should be okay there for quite a while. The main crop potatoes here, I'm just going to cut off the plants, and I'm going to leave them in the ground. Hopefully they'll be all right until at least till we get through the second earlies a bit. I'll keep checking them just to make sure, and perhaps pull some up. But yeah, that's hopefully going to be all right. In these next 2 beds, we've got leeks on the right here and spring onions on the left. I don't think I can see any coming up yet. We planted those last week, so yeah, I wouldn't expect necessarily to see anything yet. But yeah, hopefully they'll come up and we'll have a good crop of those in the autumn. Back here we've got our Monge 2 peas. I haven't put any sticks up them or anything yet, but they're actually quite self-supporting. They're doing really well. I'm really pleased with these. Yeah, looking really good. I can't see any pods on them yet, but yeah, I'm really happy with those. Hoping for a nice harvest off of those. And then the last bed I'll show you is this one. We had some peas in. We'd grown them in a pot at home, and they've really not taken. So we'll pull them out and we'll do something else with this bed. Yeah, so I'll show you what else we're going to do today. So the jobs for today, so I'm going to put all those tomato plants up, which is kind of sad because they were doing quite well. There's a couple of quite big fruit on them, but they need to go, so we'll pull those up. I'm going to cut those potatoes back, those plants back. Hopefully they'll do all right. And then the other job we're going to do, I've bought these potatoes, so I've got some more Charlotte. We've done quite well with those here, so I thought I'd carry on with them. And this is a brand I've used before, this Taylor's. So I just got these on Amazon. It's quite hard to find the sort of summer planting seed potatoes, but yeah, I found them on Amazon. So these are ones that you can plant now from July to September, and then you can harvest them November onwards. So they're always sort of marketed as being ready for Christmas. But yeah, I thought as there's a few beds starting to go fallow, I'd get these in. At least we get a good supply of potatoes when the others run out. It's always a crop I do quite well with, so I'll be quite happy with that. Yeah, so I'm going to put those. I've got 4 bags of these, so they've got 9 potatoes in each, so that's enough for 1 bed. So I'm going to put some in this bed here, this one that had the squash in today. And then when the broad beans come out, I'm going to fill these 2 beds as well. And then I will decide the other bed. We'll see how we go, because I'm going to leave those potatoes in, the main crops in. So yeah, we're starting to run out of space. I've still got at home, I've got a load of chard to go in. So I'd like to save a bed. I think I'll use the bed over by the Monge 2 peas for those. Nice to have those going on over winter, maybe into spring. They did quite well last year, so yeah, we'll get those in. Yeah, so I'll show you. I'll get that tomato bed cleared up and show you that. Here's our courgette harvest for today. There's quite a few small ones there. There's probably about 5 smaller ones there that'll be ready in a few days' time. So I'll leave them there. But these are all a good size. We'll pick those. I've cut back all the potato foliage now. So I've just left the little stalks out the bottom. I might dig up one of them just to have a little look, see how they're doing. Make sure they're okay. But yeah, cut them back and hopefully leave them in for a little while. So all the tomato plants are all now on the pile that they burn occasionally. Get rid of all the blight. I don't want that in our compost pile. So I've cleared that all bed out. I'm going to decide what to do with that bed. I might put kale, chard in it, or some beans. I'm not sure I should mix the potatoes because I think they're part of the same family. So yeah, I don't really want to risk that necessarily this year. But yeah, so these potatoes, I've got them out of the bag and I've just placed them out on the top, ready to plant. There's 9 in a bag, so they can fit in this bed nicely. They're already sprouting, already got shoots on them, so I don't need to worry about chitting them. They can go straight in. So I'm going to do one bed today, and then maybe next week I'll get some more. I'll pull the broad beans up and do those 2 beds. Yeah, see how we go. Stagger them a little bit so we don't get too much crazy potatoes. Yeah, so I'm going to plant these in the soil now. So that's all the jobs done for today. Cleared the tomatoes, cut back the potatoes, and planted the Christmas potatoes. No need to water, it's plenty wet down here. We've had a few little rain showers while we've been down here. Yeah, it sort of rained most days this week, but yeah, it's all looking good. I'm happy about all these pumpkins are growing. And the beans doing really well. Lots of lovely growth on them. The corn's looking good, and the courgettes. So hopefully the potatoes. I had a little look at those main crop potatoes, and they look really good. There's quite a lot in there. So yeah, fingers crossed they'll store okay. Yeah, we certainly need to get eating some of the others first before we start harvesting them. Yeah, and these peas are doing really well. I'll perhaps bring down next week. I think I'll bring down the chard and get it in this bed at the back, or the one where the tomatoes were. And I'll plant some more potatoes as well. I think the broad beans, looking at them, I've just harvested a handful of broad beans off them. But looking at them, I think they're done now. So yeah, I'll do that next week, I think. I'll bring them down and yeah, just make sure they're happy that they're done. I'll pull them all out and yeah, get some more potatoes in, and we can look forward to them for Christmas. That'd be really nice to have some homegrown Christmas potatoes. Yeah, see what else we can harvest. I hope you're all doing well, keeping well, and harvesting lots of fresh fruit and veg. Stuff at home's doing really well. As I said, the tomatoes are kicking in now, and the what else have we had? The sunflowers are starting to open. We've got a whole bed of sunflowers. They're all flowering, which is beautiful. Lettuce is going mad still. Courgettes we're picking every day from the home. Yeah, so good harvest times. Really happy with that. Yeah, so hope you're enjoying your weekend and having lots of fun outside. And I shall see you soon.